All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome to the Punk Rock Review. This is a special edition of my stream, so this will probably get an edited version at some point in the near future. But today actually is a special day, so let's excuse me, sorry, let's hang out and celebrate something that I think is massively important. All right. The universe has a really funny way of doing things. As some of you guys might know, I'm currently working on a three-part series, Women Are Punk. And yeah, I'm learning a lot. I read a couple of books and I'm just trying to I don't know, I just thought it'd be kind of nice to represent everybody within the community. And we haven't done a feature on women yet, and I've been a channel for 2 years and some change. So I just thought it was appropriate to bring this to the table. Now I'm not going to know everything, but I'll put in the work. So we'll see how it comes out. But today, again, I was just doing some research, and I discovered that today, August 5th of 2025, is in fact the 50th anniversary of the Runaways. Now, some people might say the Runaways are a classic rock band. Me personally, I feel like they're a punk band. They brought us Joan Jett, and you really can't argue that Joan Jett is not punk. I mean, that's insane to me. Somebody would say that. So we're gonna look at this Parade magazine article, and let's talk about the Runaways for a little bit. Boom. All right. So, yeah, I want to give credit where credit's due, by the way. Deborah Cruz from Parade Magazine wrote this right up. We're going to read it, talk about this, and also go into Wikipedia a little bit. I was working on some stuff about the Go-Go's last night, so it's interesting that this is, I don't know, it's weird, man. I'm doing research. It's taking a while to do these videos because I'm trying to do it right, but yeah, so let's just read this. It says 50 years ago today, these pioneering queens of rock and noise, quote unquote, formed the first all-female punk rock band. Sometimes the most revolutionary ideas are born from the simplest observations. 53 years ago, no, sorry. It says 53. It meant 50 years ago today, on August 5th, 1975. Let me just start that over, right? 50 years ago today, on August 5th, 1975, producer Kim Fowley had a vision that would shatter every barrier in rock music. What if teenage girls could rock just as hard as the boys? That question led to the formation of the Runaways, the groundbreaking all-female band that proved women belonged on every stage in rock and roll. The band's origin story reads like rock mythology. Fowley discovered drummer Sandy West in the parking lot of the Rainbow Bar and Grill, uh, where she convinced him of her talent on the spot. Meanwhile, guitarist Joan Jett had auditioned for Fowley by playing ukulele to a Sweet album before switching to guitar and becoming the band's driving force. What made the Runaways truly revolutionary wasn't just their gender, it was their attitude and age. These weren't seasoned musicians breaking into a male-dominated industry. They were teenagers creating their own space in rock history. Lead vocalist Sherry Curie was discovered at a teen nightclub, while bassist Jackie Fox was literally found in a parking lot by Fowley's associate. By found in a parking lot, I wonder what that means. Was it just some girl he thought was pretty and was like, "Hey, come here, want to be in a band?" Like, how do you find a musician in a parking lot? I'm incredibly curious as to how that works out. I'm not trying to like throw shade. I'm just curious. The band's impact was immediate and lasting. Their signature song, Cherry Bomb, became an anthem of teenage rebellion, while Queens of Noise, which inspired our headline, showcased their fierce energy and unapologetic attitude. They toured with established acts like Van Halen and the Talking Heads, proving they could hold their own with any rock band. Beyond their musical contributions, the Runaways opened doors that had never existed before. Their existence alone inspired countless young women to pick up instruments and start their own bands. Though the Runaways disbanded in 1979 after releasing 4 studio albums, their influence rippled through generations. Joan Jett became a rock icon with her Blackhearts, while Lita Ford carved out her own successful solo career. Their story proved that rock and roll belonged to anyone brave enough to claim it. Tragically, drummer Sandy West died in 2006 at just 47, but her legacy lives on in every female drummer who followed. The Runaways didn't just form a band. They created a blueprint for rebellion, showing that teenage girls could be just as loud, proud, and powerful as anyone else in rock and roll music. Today, as we celebrate their formation anniversary, the Runaways' message remains as relevant as ever. Rock and roll has no gender. Music belongs to anyone bold enough to make some noise. Dude, that was very well written. Very, very well written. Deborah Cruz, thank you for writing that little expose, I guess. I don't know what the right word is. Article on the Runaways. I really have been a fan of them for a very long time. So, yeah, man. I love the Runaways. Joan Jett is one of those musicians that over the years, it's kind of, I don't know, she's become like the punk rock queen, the queen of punk rock, however you want to word that. I mean, just look at her discography. So, I mean, you got Lita Ford and Joan Jett out of one group. I find that, honestly, kind of insane. So, as I do this research and as I come across more factoids on these ladies and bands, it has all come back to specifically Joan Jett. But we wouldn't have Joan Jett and the Blackhearts if it wasn't for the Runaways. And it isn't about their look necessarily. It isn't about the fact that they had a lot of classic rock influences, because all the punk bands did back then. If you listen to most punk bands from like before 1980, most of them had a lot of Rolling Stones influence in their music. But all of them had AC/DC, Rolling Stones, all that stuff from early punk. It all had those influences. A lot of the Beatles. It's cool to see some girls that are just young and pissed and they want to party, right? And that's kind of what you get with the Runaways. Let's pull up their Wikipedia real quick and kind of see what it says about their history, because it's going to be a little more in depth than that article was. Yeah, I saw that article and it blew my mind that today just happened to be the 50th anniversary of a band that I'm working on a video that's going to, contain a bunch of their information, at least some information and some imagery. So, what's up, Miguel? Miguel Soto says, I first saw John Jay when she was 17 in Manhattan. What? I don't know what that means. I mean, did you mean Joan Jett? You probably meant Joan Jett. It's all right, though. I misspeak all the time, and I definitely don't type very well when I'm, like, trying to type in a live setting. But let's see. So Kim Fowley, that's a dude. I did not realize that. So I read the name Kim Fowley and just assumed that was a lady. Interesting. Let's see. Okay, so it says that Carrie Chrome was excuse me. Let's see here. Carrie Chrome was a musician that was at a party for Alice Cooper, and he put her on salary and had her begin looking for female performers. Then Carrie Chrome met Joan Jett and brought her to Fowley. Jett successfully auditioned for Fowley by playing ukulele, like we said earlier, to a Sweet album. Ah, yes, Miguel Soto says, I first saw Joan Jett when she was 17 in New York City. That's awesome. That's crazy. I bet it was rad. Dude, she was like a heartthrob, bro. Everybody had a crush on her. When I was young, dude, I used to think Joan Jett was the absolute jam. Still think she was gorgeous. She picked up his guitar as her instrument as soon as she passed that audition. In the parking lot of the Rainbow Bar and Grill, he met Sandy West, who agreed to play drums. Fowley had Jett rehearse with Joan. Good grief. Fowley had Joan Jett rehearse with Sandy West at Sandy West's home in Huntington Beach, and then auditioned to pair on the telephone to music journalist Richie York. He then turned to 2 radio stations to advertise for further auditions, which brought lead vocalist, bassist Mickey Steele, later of the Bangles. Good grief, dude. We had the Bangles, we had Lita Ford, we had Joan Jett, all in one band. This is crazy, dude. Wow. All right. Absolutely insane, man. And then the Runaways, they were formed in August 1975. That's nuts. What was that dude's name? Is it Kim? Yeah, Kim Fowley. Let's see, where did it go? Kim Fowley was touting the group as the Runaways, an all-girl answer to Grand Funk. And the band signed to Kim Fowley Productions for management in September of that year. The lineup of Joan Jett, West, and Steele made its live debut playing the Whiskey A Go-Go in September of 1975, opening for Fowley's previous conceptual band, the Hollywood Stars, then just called the Stars. I mean, this is wild. What's up, Karmas? She looks good for her age now. The punk rock lifestyle didn't beat her up per usual. You're not wrong, man. It does a number on a lot of people. In October, Lita Steele left due to creative differences. In November, bassist Peggy Foster joined, as well as Lita Ford as lead guitarist, allowing Joan Jett to focus on rhythm guitar. Excuse me, my throat's acting up. I think I'm getting sick. Fowley and Joan Jett discovered Sherry Curie at the teen nightclub, the Sugar Shack, and brought her in as lead vocalist for the group. So it didn't say earlier that Fowley and Joan Jett discovered her. It just said that Kim Fowley discovered her. That's interesting. In 2 weeks, Foster left the group too and was replaced by Jackie Fox, whom Fowley's college colleague Rodney Bingenheimer, good grief, found at the parking lot of the West Hollywood nightclub, the Starwood. That's insane. That's a lot of just back and forth and switches and changes. But yeah, I mean, can you imagine being the first all-girl rock and roll band? I mean, just that in itself is punk rock, because there was probably a lot of people that just turned their nose up at these girls and they were like, oh, they shouldn't be doing it. That's a boys thing, and blah 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 blah, whatever stupid nonsense, they were spewing at these people. But to come through all that and make it on the other side with some of these legendary people. I mean, members of the Bangles, Lita Ford, Joan Jett, just all within one group. I don't know. I don't think we would have things well, let me just look at my, let's see, where's my notes at? Alright. There it is. Okay. Shit. I need something. I wrote something else. Hold on one second. There we go. Okay. Yeah. The Go-Go's. I want to know what do y'all think? Do you think we would have ever gotten X-Ray Specs if it wasn't for the Runaways? What year did the X-Ray Specs start? We might have gotten them regardless, right? (1976), huh? So the year later. I wonder if they were inspired by no, because Polystyrene formed X-Ray Specs after watching the Sex Pistols play. Man, what a time to be alive, right? You got the Runaways in the U.S. and X-Ray Specs over in the U.K. all within about a year of each other. Woo! That is incredible. That is incredible. Two of my favorite bands, period. Specifically X-Ray Specs, but I like the Runaways a lot. I think I might prefer the Runaways over Joan Jett, the Blackhearts, because they have more of just a rock and roll sound that I enjoy a lot. But Miguel Soto says, I'm 63 and I love punk rock more now than ever. I feel you, bro. I'm 43 and I feel the same way. Karma says, not just the first, but a cut above a lot of the boys for sure. Depends on what, I don't know if it's a cut above. I think that they were, equivalent to or better than, I guess is the right way to put it. I don't know that I would go, they're better than a lot of them, but they were on par with a lot of these bands that were out. I mean, I'm sure. I also don't know a ton of classic rock bands, so there's probably a bunch of bands that I don't know, and the reason I don't know them is because they weren't as good as the Runaways. So, you know. Let's pull up. Let's see. What's up, Maurice? Doubt if Polly and Co ever heard of them then, especially with our radio stations. You're probably right. Monday Media, what's up? Well, bands like Destroy Boys, Screaming Females, and Kitty probably wouldn't have been without the band. 100%. Dude, they touched not only punk but metal, man. I'm going to say that right now. They influenced a lot of stuff. Joan Jett was a big influence on Brody Dahl. Oh, 100%. Dude, like we wouldn't have the Distillers or the Interrupters without Joan Jett. We wouldn't have The Last Gang. We wouldn't have Bad Cop, Bad Cop. Dude, all of that is direct descendant of Joan Jett. Like 100%, bro. 100%. Let's pull up the Runaways discography. They have 4 albums. Oh, man, I love that we can just sit and talk for a few minutes. I don't have a bunch of time today, but I wanted to get in a good, 30, 40 minutes of talking with you guys and gals, hopefully. So, I mean, Cherry Bombs, obviously, that's the one, right? And what was that on their first album? Yeah, what? No, yeah, I don't know what years these came out. Let's see. Albums. I think that was their first album. No. Yeah. Their subtitle album was their first album. It is the first song of the first album, dude. 241 million streams on Spotify alone. Bro. Dead End Justice is a good song. Rock and Roll, obviously. You Drive Me Wild is one that I personally enjoy. I mean, it's just good rock and roll, man. Then we have that Live in Japan record. Waiting for the Night is a good record. And now, the Runaways. I don't know that I've got much time with that record. I need to go get that one up. What year did that come out, I wonder? Queens of Noise is one that I used to really like a lot. Take It or Leave It was probably my favorite song on that album. Maybe not my favorite, but it's a very good song. I love Playing with Fire. Let's go, dude. Heartbeat. Johnny Guitar. California Paradise. Man, Born to Be Bad. Midnight Music. What a good album. Take It or Leave It. Queens of Noise, the title track. Bro, what a fantastic record. 10 songs. All of them are bangers. I'll tell you this. The only problem I had with bands back in the day, like old bands, before I was even born, like just stuff I heard, was the songs were always too long. These girls had it right, man. Most of their songs are 3.5 minutes or less. I totally understand that. I really appreciate that they did short, just quick rock and roll songs. Maurice says, I never caught the Runaways until years later and was blown away. Yeah, I mean, back in the day, I can't imagine how hard it was to get music from across the pond. Like, this is why, like, old European imports for like, a record collectors down here that are so hard to get and valuable is because the stuff was expensive and hard to do. It's hard to even find out about it. The Beatles were worldwide, but a lot of bands that were over there and a lot of bands that were over here just never made it over there until years and years later. I wonder which okay, this is Monday Media saying, I wonder which artists influenced Hayley Williams to be a frontwoman. I know she was directly influenced from being in church choir, and that's how she got her chops. She's probably the template for female musicians and mostly frontwomen these days. What? I guess. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know that I agree with that. I mean, maybe. I guess the way women in heavy bands, I hate Paramore, so I don't really think of them like that. I don't know. Yeah, I guess I would love to wonder. You know what, dude? On my notes, I don't even have Paramore on my list. I'm gonna write them down. If I'm gonna do modern stuff, I have to include Paramore, even if I don't like them. It doesn't matter. You know who we really wouldn't have without the Runaways? The Donnas. Wouldn't have a chance to have the Donnas without Paramore. I mean, we wouldn't have the Donnas without the Runaways because that's the modern day Runaways. Yeah, no. I that's what I'm trying to get my brain out of, like, because I was thinking like Brody and Amy Interrupter, but you're right. It's probably Hayley Williams as far as just in general. So my list consists. All right, check this out. Here's my list of the women that I'm going to talk about in the first, because it's going to be a 3-part series, right? It's going to be Vivienne Westwood, and then I'm going to cover Alice Bagg, the Go-Go's, X-Ray Specs, Joan Jett and the Runaways, excuse me. What are we doing here? What's going on? notes are all jacked up. I'm missing a bunch of stuff. Anyways, so, okay, sorry. We're going to cover Vivienne Westwood, the Slits, Alice Bag, the Go-Go's, X-Ray Specs, Joan Jett and the Runaways, L7, the Plasmatics. Oh, no, there it is. I just put it in the wrong spot. Okay. Vice Squad, the Luna Chicks, Debbie Harry and Blondie, Chumbawamba and Crass, Devotchkas, Susie Sue, X, Courtney Love, and Hole. It won't be tons of information on each one. I'm just going to touch on each one of those artists, as in like the first wave, or I guess first couple of waves of Kathleen Hanna from Bikini Kill. Oh, dude, no, dude, she's getting her own video, bro. Don't even trip. Part 2 will be Riot Girl, the Warped Tour's lack of female representation, Bratmobile, Bikini Kill, Alanis Morissette, Fiona Apple, and Pussy Riot. And then part 3 will be Modern Women in Punk, 2000 to present. It'll have the Distillers, the Donnas, Paramore, the Interrupters, Last Gang, Catbite, Slant, and possibly more. But yeah. She played your town's first basement house show in the 80s. It lasted until last year. I don't know if you're making a joke or if you actually mean something lasted that long. If you please specify what you mean, because I'm interested in that. That's awesome. But yeah, I'm going to do a 3-part series. I'm currently working on the notes. It's going to take a while. It'll be probably the fall, maybe even Christmas before it's done, because I do content every day. So like, just to get time to do notes on this is incredibly difficult. But it's all right though. We'll get it done one way or another. Listen to all this, man. We're hanging out talking about the freaking Runaways. Started this whole conversation. I would say the first 2. I guess the Runaways were the first one because they were around a year before X-Ray Specs. But I don't know that there's another band that came out with women in it before X-Ray Specs that was like a punk type rock and roll. I guess there was. But all women, dude, that's crazy. 1975. Can you imagine what the disgusting people they had to put up with back then? Just the nasty ass people they had to put up with. Ugh. Let's see here. Okay. So the Runaways recorded their debut album, self-titled The Runaways, in January of 1976. Released it in March through Mercury Records. The album debuted at number 188 on the Cashbox Top Albums chart, received favorable reviews, and was promoted through numerous radio ads, achieving sales of 70,000 units in that year. The band toured the U.S. in support of headlining groups such as Cheap Trick, Van Halen, Talking Heads, and Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. For their stage performance, the 2004 documentary Edge Play, a film about the Runaways, ooh, I need to watch that. Okay. Revealed each girl patterned herself after their music idol. Curie was David Bowie, Jet was Susie Quattro, Ford on a cross between Jeff Beck and Richie Blackmore, West on Roger Taylor, and Fox on Gene Simmons. That's amazing. I didn't know that. The Runaways were the subject of a write-up in People magazine in September of 1976. A week later, Fowley severed his ties with the band and fortified his rights, titles, claims, and merchandising ownership to Mercury Records. Mercury refused to accept Fowley's stakehold in the band and turned it back to him the following week. Fowley and the band reconciled in November and returned to the studio to record their follow-up album, Queens of Noise. That album was released in January of 1977. Wow. Drama. So let's see. No, not making a joke. It's called Crayola House. There's a documentary being made about it. It's a DIY basement house venue that had their first show at Bikini Kill and Nation of Ulysses. That's amazing. I think she actually wrote about that in her book. Now that you wrote it out like that, and I hear the word Crayola House, that's in her book. I just got done reading it, or listening to it rather. Whatever, same thing to me. The Runaways performed a world tour in support of Queens of Noise. The band quickly became lumped in with a growing punk rock movement. The band, already fixtures on the West Coast punk scene, formed alliances with mostly male punk bands such as the Ramones and the Dead Boys via CBGB, and then as well as British punk scene by hanging out with the likes of the Damned, Generation X, and the Sex Pistols. In the summer of 1977, booking agent David, Liebert? I don't know, secured dates in Japan where they played a string of sold-out shows. They were unprepared for the onslaught of fans that greeted them from the airport. Jet later described the mass hysteria as just like Beatlemania. I believe it. While in Japan, the Runaways had a TV special, made numerous television appearances, and released the album live in Japan, which went gold. Jackie Fox left mid-tour and was replaced by bassist Vicky Blue when the group returned to America. Sherry Curie left the band in August of 1977. Fally recorded the Runaways' third LP, Waiting for the Night, at Larrabee Studios that same month, with the band as a four-piece with Joan Jett on vocals. The album was released in October of 1977 and was the final album that Fally would record with the group. I need to go listen to that record because I want to hear Joan Jett on vocals with this band. Due to disagreements over money and the management of the band, the Runaways and Kim Fally parted ways in 1977. Wow, just 2 years, huh? The group quickly hired Toby Mamis, who worked for Blondie and Suzi Quatro. When the group split from Fally, they also parted with their record label Mercury and Polygram, to which their deal was tied. The Edge played documentary members of the group, especially Fox and Curie, as well as the parents of Curie and West, have accused Fally and others assigned to look after the band of broken promises as to schooling and other kinds of care, using divide and conquer tactics to keep control of the band, along with the verbal taunting of band members. The band, it sounds like our government now, right? Do what they're doing to us. The band reportedly spent much time enjoying the excesses of the rock and roll lifestyle during this time. They partnered with Thin Lizzy producer John Alcock after Jett's future partner Kenny Laguna turned down the job to record their last album, and now the Runaways. Man, that's crazy. You had punk band Penetration lead singer Pauline Murray from 1977, 1978. I mean, X-Ray Specs was from 1976. So, I mean, to my understanding, that's the earliest female punk over there. Or was, are you talking about like an all-female punk band? Penetration, was that all-female? That's awesome. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, man, look at that. Joan Jett in the 80s, dude. Yes, sir. Whew. She was something else, wasn't she? I remember a bunch of my brother's friends liked Lita Ford as when I was like a youngster. Let's see here. Let's go to Joan Jett. Let's see here. Dang! She did 11 albums with the Blackhearts? That's crazy. I genuinely did not know that she did 11 albums with them. Let's see. Evil Stig. What? Interesting. I've heard. Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Okay. That's awesome. Evil Stig is just Gits Live backwards, and she played with the members of the Gits to do some kind of like benefit show. That's awesome. I Hate Myself for Loving You. Let's go. Bad Reputation. Dude, she did so many good. Do You Want to Touch Me? Dude, she's had some crazy songs. Let's see here. What was that album that they said that she sang on? I'll have to go listen to this while making dinner in a minute. Let's go back one more. All right, I'm going to wrap this up in just a minute. I didn't plan on being here for more than a half an hour, so. I just wanted to celebrate the Runaways a little bit and just make sure we all took a minute to appreciate their music, their contributions to not only punk but rock and roll in general. I think that celebrating women in punk is incredibly important. And as of late, I've had just so many opportunities to stand up for our community and stand up for people, both like Hispanics, women, just all kinds of people from different places, shapes, colors. It's insane. It's insane the way that things are taking shape right now. And I just want everybody that's watching this to know that you got a place here to hang out, man. You want to come hang out? As long as you're not being, like, mean, I guess. Dude, you're welcome here, man. Everybody is. I really appreciate everybody's support. I appreciate the community is growing. I just worked on the zine not documentary, but like vlog. That'll be up probably by Friday on the channel, so you'll get to see me make the first issue of the zine, which we have about 20 copies left. They're available on the web store, linked in my description if you are interested. Every single dollar from that goes to an account that goes towards the record label. So if you buy the zine, you're not only contributing to our live streams, but you are contributing directly to bands having albums released. And we currently have two things in the work right now. We've got the Mismiths doing an EP on cassette tape with us, and Petty Treason doing an EP on CD. We also have a new split with Generation Exit and Mark Lynn from the Ducky Boys on vinyl that we just did. We've got, let's see, I think we're working on a Lonesome Haunts. Is that what it's called? Yeah. And, no, I mean, is that the band? I can't think right now. I'm starving. I need to go eat food. Valhalla Cinema and Lonesome Haunts split. Excuse me. But anyways, we got a lot of stuff in the works. But it all starts here with these videos and supporting the channel that way. So please like the video, subscribe to the channel, all that jazz. And we'll see you next time. I'll be live tomorrow night for the playlist. So come hang out with us, listen to some rock and roll, and y'all have a good day. Go listen to the Runaways, man. A good band. Go listen to some Joan Jett, whatever. But I'm gonna go eat.